What is up, everybody?
Holy shit.
Back at it again with another episode of Initial Dweebs. You know what time it is.
We're kind of consistent.
The car has been painted, as you saw in the last video. It looks pretty good, and it's been about 2 weeks since we painted it. So let's, without further ado, let's just get right into it and show you guys what it's looking like now. All right,
We got some shit.
as you saw in the B-roll, it looks pretty dope.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got sparkles. It's shimmery.
It definitely, you can see the sparkles. It looks really good. Definitely has orange peel, but as we said before, that is kind of unavoidable.
When you spray flake.
When you spray metal flake, you're going to get orange peel. You're going to get this kind of rough surface area or texture. But basically, that's where the wet sanding comes in. Today, we are going to be wet sanding literally the whole car, buffing it out, and it should be like a mirror. We put over a gallon of clear on this thing.
There's a lot of clear on
So
this motherfucker.
we should have a lot of material to work with, which is nice. We're just gonna fucking get right into
We're
it.
gonna start slaving our life away, doing our favorite pastime, sanding
For life.
for life.
Before we get into that, I also have some goodies over here. As people probably know, if you're into these cars, that they don't make trim for these cars. They're impossible to find, and all of the trim that you can find is completely bunk. So I've been working really hard on producing reproduction trim for these cars. This is exactly the same length and shape and everything as the OEM trim. It's been printed in multiple pieces. And this particular iteration is designed to use 3M tape all the way down because we had shaved the holes on his car. But also, I just think the 3M tape works better than the clips. That's my personal opinion. This is another one. That's for the quarter panel. This is 2 pieces, but this one I had put together, and I body worked out and cleaned up the seams and stuff like that. So this is kind of what you can expect it to look like when it's done. And sprayed. And then the next thing that I've been working on, and this is my favorite thing, and then this is a front lip. Like, Aaron doesn't know if he's gonna run this yet, but I'm definitely putting this on my car. But this is from 3D model to reality. This is printed in multiple different pieces using dovetail joints and glue to put it together. If it fits and everything works, I will body work this whole thing out, and it'll look something like this. And we're just missing one piece, and that's at home right now printing. That's a side piece down here. But we're going to test fit this on Aaron's bumper, and so I can see if it fits. But we're also going to test fit the trim to see kind of how that fits and how it looks. So let's get right into that. All right, there it is. There is my reproduction trim I've been working on. It actually looks really freaking good. It's just kind of stuck on there with a couple little pieces because obviously it's not permanent, but yeah, I mean, I'm actually really happy with how this turned out. That's pretty good considering there's no options for this car. Definitely looks OEM for sure. And definitely, so Aaron's going to be going with silver trim on this thing. So this black trim will actually be silver, and then the bumper trim will be silver. So it's going to have that look to it. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty cool. So this is the 3D printed lip, and to our amazement and surprise, because we used a 3D model that is used in video games, like a set of Krosia that I found online, and I just scaled the 3D model to the size of an actual car. I took measurements of my bumper, and then I scaled the entire model to those measurements, and then I built this lip basically in the program, and it actually turned out really good. So it's like this, if it was bolted down, this is how it would fit right here. and then right here, see it has a little bit of flex to it. It would be, boom. It would sit super flush, but it completely lines up with the bumper, which is amazing. All right, so we had to take the wrapping and the tape and stuff off of the front here because we had to get to the holes so we can actually bolt the fenders down, because when you sand and cut and buff a car, you don't want fenders to be flapping around or body panels potentially falling off and ruining your shit. So basically what we like to do is we just bolt the fender down. We don't put all the bolts in it. We just put, you know, a couple bolts. We don't care about the alignment. We just bolt it down, and we kind of want a gap because we don't want to run over onto the next panel because we're going to tape it off anyway. But this just helps assure that we're not going to make any stupid mistakes. But we bolted the fenders down so they're not going to be flapping around. We bolted the front headlight panel down so that's sturdy on there, so we can buff that out. The other things we're going to be buffing on the sawhorses, but yeah, for the most part, everything's kind of locked down. So now what we're going to do is we got some sandpaper. We got 2,000, we got 1,500, and we got 3,000. And then we got these 2 blocks that we're going to be wrapping the sandpaper in. We're going to fill this with water, and we're just going to start wet sanding.
Wet sanding.
So I have all of it scraped down for the most part. You can still feel it a little bit. It's like completely flat in some areas, but you can still feel it a tiny bit in some areas. I want to make sure that I go over it with the 1,500 grit first, and then I'll knock down the high spots so I don't accidentally make any spots too low. But for the most part, they're all knocked down. This is one of the things is there's like, you got to think about compromise here, right? When you have a sag like this, you'll still be able to see it even if it's completely flat. That's just kind of the nature of how things work with this paint, or with how clear works. But there are techniques, many techniques to basically knock down these sags and runs. But this is the technique I'm using because it's not that bad. But if you had like a really bad run on a panel, right, that was like this, and it was really high, one of the things you can do is you can take glazing putty like we used in our other videos, and you can actually lay it right over the top of the clear and then block sand it. And what that's going to do is fill all the low spots. So as you knock the whole entirety of it down, you'll see that you're also only knocking the high spots of the rundown. So by the time you get down to it being flat, there would be no chance of you accidentally sanding the clear too thin anywhere else. So that's another technique that you can do. Another one is when you're spraying it and the run's still wet, you can take a paper towel, dab the run until it's flat, and there's like basically it just looks like the clear super textured, and then you can just clear over it, and a lot of times it'll melt the run out. And you know, that also has its drawbacks. I've been working on the quarter panel, and it has been turning out awesome. Like, it is turning out so flat. Let's see if I can show you. So you can like see the orange peel, right? So as you come up, you can see where I sanded. It's basically dull, and that's pretty much what you want. You want it to be dull, and you want to sand until there's like no shiny spots, because every shiny little spot represents basically a little dimple, and that's what kind of creates the orange peel. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to sand it until it's completely flat and there's no shiny spots. And that's essentially what we're doing. This whole car is basically gonna look completely flat, and after that Then we'll buff it out. We'll get rid of all the little sand scratches, and then the shine will come right back. All right, guys. So we've been sanding for about 3-4 hours now.
The Civic kicked our ass.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's the same shit, sanding forever. You sand, you squeegee it off, you look down the side, you see if there's any shiny spots, you sand, you squeegee it off. We like to do it that way. So Aaron got this whole panel done. We still have to get these bottom ones because we found another sag, which kind of sucks, but you know how it goes. Aaron got all this top piece done, and the roof is completely done.
Woo!
Our freaking shoulders and like traps are just dying. God. So we got the roof done. I worked on this. I got this done, and this is completely done. The sag is completely gone. We'll see once we buff it if it comes back. And if it does, I'll put a little bit more work into it, but it should be good. But yeah, we're gonna basically call it, and we're gonna come back out here.
Got just a couple more little sag areas, so I mean, it really shouldn't be. And we'll have more people next week.
Yeah.
So that should make things go a little bit faster too.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna buff out really nice though.
What is up, everybody? Back at it again. Still the same episode, but a different day because, as you saw a little bit ago, we're sanding forever. Look who we got here. Anyway,
sanding.
So we're back, and we have more paper towels because that's what we ran out of last time. We have more sandpaper. We have some other goodies, and we're just gonna get cracking right at it. Back to the same shit that we were doing.
Cracking like crackers.
Yes. So yeah, let's get it. Alright, so we got most of the car sanded, and we are now in the process of cut and buffing the clear. This is the most satisfying part of the process. It still sucks, but it's very satisfying. Anyway, we got our two buffers down here. We got this one, which is going to have the wool pad. This one, which is going to have the foam pads. We have fine foam, coarse foam, and medium foam. We probably don't need any of those. We probably just need the fine foam and the wool pad, and that'll probably work. We have the Meguiar's 205. That'll be the one that we use to finely polish it. And then we have the good shit, the sand cream. Ultra cut compound, extra heavy cut, dude. We cleaned the panel down with wax and grease remover. Taped half of it off just because I don't like missing spots. And then basically gonna lube the panel. I like to lube the panel up with some glass cleaner. Saturate this up. Alright, like to work it in, you know what I'm saying. Grab that light, please. All right, let's see it. Oh yeah. Look at that.
Looks pretty cool.
Wow. That's just like barely gone over. Dope. Well, you know, we're gonna do this on the rest of the car, so we're just gonna get into it. So, see ya.
You missed.
I used the wool pad on it with the heavy compound, and it looks, as you can see, it's very flat. Obviously, there's still a tiny bit of orange peel, but we decided we weren't gonna keep going because it's better to have a little bit of orange peel than it is risking, you know, burning through. But this is all done, so it's actually gonna get a deeper and even better shine when we actually put the polish on there. But until then, I'm gonna start moving my way over to this door and then over to the fender. The guys over here, the Pinkman,
Go on.
they're over here working like slaving like in a body shop, getting all this done.
Leaving.
You know, that's how it looks. And then if you move to the door, it's like, bing, no reflection. Reflection, no reflection. Pretty good progress. It's actually, the paint is actually coming out pretty easily. The micro scratches from the sandpaper. Sometimes if you let a paint job cure too much, it'll be hard to sand out. Maybe 4 years, but this one's only been in here for a couple weeks and it's kind of cold out, so you know, it's not too much. All right, the moment of truth.
You gonna see it, what it looks like, shiny
The polish.
and polished.
We've been putting in work. Obviously, it's not done. We have to do the other side, but the rest of the car is basically done.
Like 50% done.
So yeah,
Let's take a look.
boom. Look how
Shiny
freaking
AF.
shiny this thing is. Turned out really good. Use this light here. As you can see, it is super shiny. The color really came out. The roof is really crazy. It's like basically completely reflective. Yup.
Woo!
It turned out really good.
Real good.
So we are super excited to do the rest of the car. So this step is definitely worth it when you're doing painting and stuff like that.
A lot of work.
I mean, okay, look at this. You can even see it in the camera. The blue up there is like a dark blue, and the blue down here is like a light turquoise. You see it?
Yeah.
You could see it with your naked eye. That's so cool. That's such a cool fucking
Yeah, I've never noticed
effect.
that either.
Yeah, that wasn't coming through before we did this. So that's kind of crazy. And there's a lot more pink as well. But it's only certain light, right? You move this light and it's like not even that gnarly, but
Yeah.
really brings it out.
I wonder what it's gonna look like in like
Sunlight.
like just middle of the day sunlight.
Yeah, it's probably gonna look freaking crazy. All right, guys, that's a wrap.
We did it!
We got a lot done on the car. There's still more to be done, but we'll probably get that done next time. And yeah,